All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Home Service Hustle. I'm your host, Jonathan Bannister, and today I have Cale Forester with us. Cale is the founder of Mastin's Plumbing in the Tulsa, Oklahoma market. He's also a former veteran. He's a father, and he's a future husband. Believe it or not, someone's going to marry this guy. So I want to welcome Cale to the show. How we doing, my brother?
Hey, thanks, Jonathan. I'm doing pretty good.
Right.
How's things down in Texas? You're not too far away from me.
Yeah, Texas is cold right now. It's been like 30 degrees here every morning, like the last 2 days. Yeah, I'm as much as I was ready for the heat to go away, it's like I'd like you to just slowly creep in with some cooler weather, right? Like don't wake up to 29 and go like, what the hell happened?
Midwest, we don't really get a fall.
So, all right, let's talk about, were you doing plumbing before you went into the Army?
So, my history is a new construction plumber. I did 2 years with my brother-in-law, who was a plumbing journeyman for little new construction shops around here.
Okay.
I always had a summer job. Growing up the way that I grew up, you always worked from the age of 14 as soon as a company would hire you back then on. So I spent a couple of years doing new construction plumbing jobs with him, rough end work in the plumbing trades on house pads. So that's where I got my background and my start actually in the trade. And then I took a long break in between.
When did you go into the Army? How long were you there? Happy Veterans Day, by the way. This is being recorded on Veterans Day. So I do want to hear the journey of your military career.
So I was a late bloomer, I grew up kind of with no clear direction. So I didn't go straight out of school into the Army. I think I went whenever I was 21. So it was 2011.
Okay.
I went through basic and all the training and stuff that the Army requires. And immediately when I got out, I think I spent a month back home, and our unit was scheduled for deployment. So I actually graduated AIT, which is the school where you're going to do your job for the Army. I graduated that class knowing that in 2 months I was going to be in Afghanistan.
Okay.
So 2012, 2013, I was in RC South, Kandahar, Afghanistan.
And then what happened once you come back from tour?
So again, I was a really good civilian or a soldier. I was not a great civilian, is what I always tell people. The home life is, I wasn't built for it. I crave structure, which shows in my work ethic today. Like I need a schedule and I need to maintain structure. So when I came home, I married a girl that I met on Facebook Messenger and asked her to.
I mean, at least it wasn't Facebook Marketplace, right?
It wasn't Facebook Marketplace. So I reached out to this girl while I was still overseas, so I'd have somebody to come home to. Got her, convinced her to move from Kentucky, and I got married to her, and we had a kid. That relationship lasted long enough to have a kid, before she moved out, and then I found the wrong group of people yet again in my life, and just tore that apart. Drugs, alcohol, all the things that they warn you about to stay away from when you're a kid. I found myself doing, and that's kind of what brought me to my knees.
So let me ask you, before we talk about the story bringing you to your knees, like, was that anything that you struggled with before you went into the Army?
I always had a little bit of a past as far as, drinking. Again, I'm from a small town. So in a small town, you either go to work, go to the Army, or go to college. I didn't do two of the three out of high school. So I just kind of went to work. But the same kids with no direction and no future were still hanging around town. So the party never stopped.
Yeah.
That habit, that behavior was something that affected me back then. It was just to a deeper level when I got back home from the Army.
So now tell us the story of how you got brought to your knees, and then let's hear the recovery side of that.
Awesome. So Really, it was it was a progression. Again, whenever I got home, it was picked up to the old ways, the old solutions that I thought I had in the past to try to cope with some feelings and emotions. And yeah, I was staying at home. I'm not proud to say it. I was 27 years old, still living at my parents' house, bumming a ride to get to Tulsa just to steal from another Walmart, pawn another computer system until eventually I just wasn't allowed to go back home. And that's whenever it kind of hit me like, oh man, I don't have a safety net to go back to. So I spent about a year on the streets of Tulsa, going from a trap house, it's basically just a drug house. That's just a slang term for a drug den where they sold drugs out of. No gas, no electric. Then there was this time I got stomped out, like blacked out, beat up, and left for dead in a ditch in Town West, out here in Tulsa, in Town West. And the cops picked me up. I tell everybody this too. I was not somebody that was friends with the cops, and I know that you were a cop, but the cops saved my life. There's a lot of people that I'm in recovery with now today where they'll tell you that the last time they got picked up, it was a relief. Like that last time, it was like it's over. So that got picked up. They saved my life. They took me to a hospital. I AMA'd myself out of that hospital, which means against medical advice. I wasn't supposed to leave, but I signed myself out and walked out of that place. And then I soon got picked up for Veterans Treatment Court, to where, and I was ready to go to prison. And that judge, I'll never forget it. She looked me in the eyes because I told her, I said, I'm ready to sign my time. Just send me to prison. Let me get this deal behind me so I can cut loose and I don't have to worry about parole no more. And she said, son, don't throw your life away. Have you ever thought about treatment? So I was like, that's a great idea. I've been running on my own thinking this whole time. But I never thought, go to a rehab, go to a treatment facility. I thought that was for rich people, down in Malibu. You go to these facilities and stuff and get a break from life. So they let me go to treatment. And I used that as a point of, that it came from within. It was a feeling of I don't want to live this way anymore. My mom and dad raised a good man. I had spent long enough going against my own morals and values that I was brought up with that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. So I used every ounce of energy that I had to give it everything that I got. And I ended up graduating, staying at that place for 90 days. And my first job, whenever I got out of there, was making $12 an hour dragging brush for a tree company. And I found a 12-step fellowship, started going to that consistently every single day. For the first 2 years of being clean, I was in a 12-step fellowship meeting every single day of the year without fail. Had nothing better to do than live in government subsidized housing and go to a meeting. So that's what I did. And then my brother-in-law, who I spent those summers with, had started a plumbing company. He got his contractor's license here in Oklahoma. So I was like, man, he gave me a job. So I made $1 more an hour. I was $13 an hour. I was like, man, this is perfect. I'm winning right now. And then it was just kind of a snowball effect. Another 3 years went by and I had my contractor's license working for another big company and decided it's time to step out on my own. And here we are,
I found it super impactful, the post that Dan Antonelli made a while back of the billboard that I guess designed, that they may have helped you design, and you've got that billboard up in a certain place in Tulsa, and it's over an underpass where you had slept some nights.
Yeah. So what's crazy is again that it's just right down the road also from that same hospital. That's downtown Tulsa, which is half a mile away from where Town West, what we call Town West in Tulsa, is.
Okay.
And the hospital, so it's right in the middle between where the hospital I walked out of, because I left that hospital and went to what I knew. It's like right there. So it's all within that same mile radius. I couldn't get off of a mile radius whenever I was drug addicted and homeless. There was no way I couldn't make it very far. So yeah, I didn't plan it. I didn't ask for it. We got a billboard, and it's one of those digital billboards, so they could put it up anywhere. So I didn't mark a location or nothing. I gave him some money, gave him an idea, and I asked him whenever it was running. I said, "Hey, where's that billboard at?" And he sent me the pin drop for it. I said, "Okay," and I still gave no consideration to it. It didn't hit me until me and my fiance, the one that's going to marry me, we parked right there in this little parking area where this billboard is over. And I looked, and I just started crying. It was the same spot. And it was like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. It's like something bigger in your life, just kind of just lined it all up, man. Getting to look at that place. And if you were to zoom in on that photo and look hard enough, there's 3 guys sleeping under that same bridge, that same spot that I was at. And here we are 5 years down the road, and it's staring back at you. I'm like, it's a big moment to get to stand where you're at today and look back at where you came from. Yeah. There was a lot of tears that day. Yeah.
It's an amazing story. And I mean, congratulations on your recovery and where you are today. What are you doing? What is like driving you today? Like, are you on a mission to help others? You mentioned those 3 people under the bridge, right? Are you speaking to people, or do you speak at, recovery events and stuff now?
Yeah. Whenever we're asked, or whenever I'm asked, I get to share my story. I'm active in that community, in our fellowship. We sponsor people whenever they ask. I do, some charitable things as well, but I don't share about it for the sake of just saying what I, that I do it or whatever. And that whole story, man, is giving it to you now is such an extremely condensed version of the horrors that a person's spirit like visits every time that they use. And and I share about being there for a year, and a guy asked me, he's like, were you okay with that? Were you happy being homeless? I'm like, God, no. Who would be? Whenever we drive by people that are just living that way, you don't know the story that took them there, and it's there was a point, like, sure, like the first time that I used was a decision and a choice, but eventually that kind of gets taken away from you. They're not really actively making a choice to do that. I think that's a lie that we tell ourselves to make us okay with ignoring it and moving on down the road. Like there's brokenness in people that we don't really see.
Yeah, I think I think that is probably more of the issues that are out there when it comes to mental illness and drug addiction. There's a lot more brokenness than there is this addiction to the physical drug itself. It's one of those, like, there's so many things that are unhealed. It's like all that person's doing is not wanting to deal with or know how to deal with the stuff that's really affecting them. So they're turning to what kind of gives them relief in that temporary moment. Right. And I think a lot of people just look at it and judge it as, what is their problem? Like, they want to do those nasty drugs. It's like, it has nothing to do about the drugs. It's not this great feeling they're going for, especially like when you see the heroin addicts, like leaning over like they're dead. It's like that person's just not wanting to deal with the life that they haven't, been able to deal with or cope with, or don't know how. They don't have the skills to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually that is a huge part of it, is coping skills. What I always say too is, like, I was dealing with a lot of feelings and emotions and stuff that I didn't know how to process or how to work through. You grow up, especially in the trade, we're plumbers, the guys that I hang around, strong, tough men, don't talk about your feelings. And I grew up in that same household, and Men's Health Month is a big one too. Is where, for me, what I found worked the best was I found a group of individuals, like-minded men that I could talk with. And you only need one. And, if I could tell anybody anything on this podcast thing, or anyone that might be hearing it, struggling with it, or got a family member, you ain't got to tell the world. You don't have to tell the world everything that's going on every day of your life, but you should probably find one person that you can.
Yeah.
And that you'll listen to.
So let's talk about, let's pivot. Let's go into some business stuff here, right? So you're a veteran, you're a father, right? And so how have some of those personal experiences shaped the values and leadership style that you bring to the plumbing business?
Oh man, yeah. So it's a benefit, but it can be a detriment. So I got one kid that works for me, two of them now. Two guys that work for me. They're in their early 20s, and I look at them like they're my sons.
Okay.
I pride myself on Mastin's Plumbing and Drain, breeding men in the trade. And don't get it twisted though. We got some strong women that work for us as well. But when it comes to out there in the field and stuff, all we got right now are some boys trying to become men. So being a father, has taught me patience, being kind, but stern. I think that clear is kind. To be very clear with your expectations.
Yeah.
Is about the kindest thing that you can do for somebody. Lay them out a well thought path, and then give them the keys to it, and let them try their best. So it's worked for us so far. Getting there.
Have you? Do you have, I know I had a client a couple years back, and they were near your market, and they brought in a lot of people that had been through recovery and stuff, and now we're clean, and so is that something that you entertain or are open to?
100%. I'm a product of not only a second chance, but third, fourth, and fifth chances. That people didn't give up on me. You have to, as a business owner, you have to be selective in, where it's just not like you open the door and the keys to the city for anybody that comes in off the streets kind of situation. They need to be properly vetted. They got to be applying themselves in personal areas of their life. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly what I did. I know that worked for me, but I'm going to have to see some proof on paper that you're making those commitments to yourself.
Yeah.
And then 100%, man. I've interviewed, I've hired, one or two now, and they're great. They're great at what they do. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned that every day is a success or a lesson. Can you share a pivotal lesson that has been significantly influenced how you run your business today?
Oh, man. A solid lesson on how I run my business today.
Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest one is do exactly what you say you're going to do. Under promise and over deliver. That is the key to success. Especially in our market and for plumbers, I don't lose it anymore. But early on, I would lose it if our guys or our office staff was not communicating throughout the call, and our guy showed up late and that homeowner was unaware. You set an expectation, and that expectation needs to be met.
Yeah,
that is a fact. That is customer service in a nutshell. If you tell me that you're going to be somewhere, I've literally had a house cleaner company show up at 1:05 because they gave my fiance, an 8 to noon window of arrival, and they showed up at 1:05. And I told her to tell them to leave. We're not going to use them. Just never called her, just left her there all day.
Yeah.
So my biggest lesson is not doing that, having learned from it. Right. I mean, not following through with the expectation of the communication piece.
Right.
And suffered a loss for it, Financially aside, you want to build a brand that means something. You want to build a company, an image, and a demeanor that people can get behind.
Yeah.
I don't want to be another plumber that, hey, yeah, he's ghosted us 3 days in a row, so we found you on Google, so we figured we'd give you a try. I want that customer. I want that call And then we follow through and show them why we're the person they should be doing business with. Please, the rest of you guys, keep doing that to people, not showing up, setting expectations, not following through, so that my guy can pick up the slack and show them the way the service ought to be.
What is it? Was that something? Is that the military that, kind of instilled that into you?
Yeah, my family. My dad's Army. My dad's from the Army, and he was actually a drill sergeant in the Army. Super hua, 300 PT score, which is like insane. So that structure started at a young age too. My family. If I tell my parents this happened this weekend, and Brittany hates it, that's my fiance. She hates it. If we tell them 5 o'clock, they're going to be at our house at 4:30.
Yeah.
So if you want them there at 5, you better tell them dinner's at like 6.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah.
We show up early, and I do that as well.
Yeah.
Whenever I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm always 15 minutes early. If I've never been to the place that you tell me to go meet you at, I'm for sure going to leave early so that I know that I won't be late.
That's right.
People should wait on me. I should wait. I shouldn't wait. Wait, hold on. I'm messing it up. Let's edit all that back.
You should wait on people. They shouldn't wait on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I should wait on people. They shouldn't wait on me.
Yeah.
So be there early. It's still today. My biggest thing is I'm at the shop at 6:30 a.m. The team doesn't have to be there till 7:15. I'm the one turning on the lights. I'm the one unlocking the doors. I'm the one looking at the schedule and stuff. And I don't say anything to make the changes. It's not like the control aspect of it. I just, the visual, I'm handing those keys off.
Right.
I've got my service manager and my office manager now meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning to get their schedule in alignment, to then whenever the guys get there at 7:15, now I've got my office and my field supervisors all on the same page. And when they're delivering that information to the team, it's not disconnected. It's a well thought out plan.
All right. So this question here is kind of around your culture and your team. So your dedication to uplifting those around you is super inspiring. How do you incorporate that drive into your company culture to keep your team motivated and aligned? So our core values all speak to being in alignment, to be tracking. So we sell a big vision, we sell a big dream to get everybody bought in, and then we pay them what the performance-based pay. Right.
We built in a performance-based pay system for every position that we have to show them how successful that they can be. I also have given kids, or someone might call them kids. I've given coaching classes. I brought in financial educators to teach them about money. A lot of these trades guys, they've never been shown what to do with money. The people that live paycheck to paycheck is because they're spending paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
So trying to get them educated on financial stability, how to not bring in and introduce more debt, how to show them the field goal to make and not move that, right? Giving them the playbook. We've got a 3-ring binder. It's so simple, easy to follow my company's model. Like literally, here is a book. If you do 90% of this stuff in this book, you cannot fail. The other 10%'s got to be you. And that's what I tell them too. You got to bring you to the table. Even with sales, man, you can have the greatest sales strategy in the world, but if you sound fake or you sound robotic and you're just going through the boxes and checking things off, I said this, I brought this up, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
You're going to fail. I don't want robots. I need individuals.
I like the sales guys that do the mirroring, because some people on that, like, Cale, you got tattoos? I got tattoos. You're a hunter. I'm a hunter. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, hey, gosh, man, just be real with people, right?
Yeah.
I think that authenticity and that truth and transparency is just like it closes more deals and win more hearts than your perfect scripting and how to sell people. Like, no, just over deliver and under promise and do what you say you're going to do. And it's like that means a lot more to people than a lot of the price tag a lot of times.
If you want your guys in plumbing, if you want your guys to sell water filtration, Have you given them water filtration to put in their house?
Right. Yeah.
How can they sell something that, first of all, they don't have? So you just want them to believe in it? Like, show them the proof, show them the evidence. I don't expect my guys to sell super high tickets every single call that they run to and stuff. This isn't just about throwing crap on an option sheet to see what sticks. The value's got to be in the need. What do they need? Identify the concerns that they have. How do they interconnect? Because a lot of this has to do with education with your homeowner. They don't understand that their shutoff valve by their toilet has failed because it's got 110 psi water pressure, and the whole house actually is now at risk. Did we verify that? Did they see you check the gauge? Did you put the gauge on? There's a lot of steps that are involved here to build the value, not overcomplicate. Don't over communicate, because a confused mind will say no. But then just be real with them. Be a human being when you open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your barbecue. So, you love some barbecue, huh?
Yeah, I am not a maker of barbecue yet. I don't have the proper equipment.
Okay.
But I drive to Texas. I don't care what anybody says. I'm an Okie through and through. Oklahoma's got my heart. I think we're the best state in the world. But I'm sorry to say it, but whenever we go to Texas to get Texas barbecue. We literally spent 8-9 days doing a tour of Texas. I've got the meat map, the top 50 Texas on my phone at all times. Just checking. Burnt Bean Co's #1 2025 right now. They're down in Seguin.
I don't even know where that's at.
It's northeast of San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah. Houston, Truth Barbecue right now, name dropping some of your spots down there in Texas. That was about the best spot that we got to go to during the summer.
Okay.
It was really good.
A lot of people online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go to get some good barbecue and you don't believe in waiting in a line, go to Rib Crib. DoorDash some crap off Rib Crib. You need to go 2 hours in advance, bring you an umbrella and a chair, and just start getting used to it. The barbecue culture too is pretty insane. You won't meet a stranger in a barbecue line. Everybody's wanting to talk. Where you been? You've been to Snow's? You've been to here? You've been to there?
So what's your favorite things to order?
So Texas Twinkie Hutchins right now is about one of my favorite ones. I always get brisket. I get the fat on the brisket because I like the flavor of that, and sliced. I don't do chopped brisket. I think you ruin a brisket if you get a chopped brisket sandwich. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Get it in a slice. And whatever they have for a hot link. I like to try their house-made hot links. If it's a cheddar jalapeno, I'll get that.
Yeah. My wife wanted to go to Hutchins last night, and I turned it down. I know. So now I'm hungry. Now I'm like, well, I think we're going to go to Hutchins tonight.
You got to go to Hutchins.
It's right down the road from us, so it's easy.
Yeah. There's a buddy of mine that lives down there, Dylan Moya. He anytime I come to Texas or whatever, and we're going to hang out, he knows we're going to a barbecue spot. We're going to go eat barbecue. So
I love it. So when did you open Mastin's?
2020. Well, so I say it like this. October of 21, I opened the bank account. January 7th of 22, I ran my first call.
Okay.
So realistically, January 7th of 2022 is whenever Mastin's Plumbing and Drain officially started.
So we're almost 4 years in.
Yep.
Right. And what does growth look like? Let's talk to other plumbing companies out there that are going to be listening to this, right? Like, what has that journey been like for you? What advice do you give, and what, the good and the bad, right? Things you've had to learn from.
Yeah. You're going to lose a lot of money. So be okay with it. It's part of business. It's going to happen. I would rather return a $5,000 check to somebody for a sewer line that didn't hold up than argue with them that something was on them. Had that happen with guys that have worked for me, doing jobs and stuff. Give me the ability to make. I've replaced in my career 2 sewer lines now in 4 years for absolutely free. Did the whole job over again. Came in, put sod back, go the extra mile. Your customers are going to be your biggest advocates. You know what I mean? They're going to speak to you, even the bad ones. Turn the bad ones into your best ones. So that's why I say you're gonna lose some money. I started myself doing this myself, working out of an apartment complex. I lived in an apartment and out of the back of my truck. And if you're starting out or if you've been running, have your own tools. I will not have company provided tools in any job I ever had. I'm self-sufficient, and I believe my guys need to be also. You need to teach people to be self-sufficient. The best way to do that is to get your own equipment. Not the big sewer machines, the sewer cameras and the jack cameras and stuff. I'm talking about their drills, their impacts, I hear people talk about it. Come work with us. We give you a tool bag and all that. Hey, that's great, but make sure that they can work that tool back off and then own it. That's the best thing you can do. Like, I'm going to start you off with your own set of tools, but you're going to work for these tools and you're going to work this off and these will be yours. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. That way they can have pride and take care of their own tools and stuff, because they won't do it for yours. And I doubled, man. It's if you want to attract or recruit the best talent, you got to do more than what everyone else is doing in your market with the benefits and the make sure your vans are nice, clean, new as they can be, go into a little bit of debt and be okay with it. That thing will pay for itself. Make sure your culture's on point, get them in good uniforms. Guys hold their heads up higher than not being in a t-shirt. You get them a good solid pair of work pants, polo or button down style shirt, whatever fits your image and stuff, but keep it clean, keep them dressed, get a nice brand. I'm a big brand guy. I've gone through your stuff too, F digital marketing and stuff. Be 5 Mile famous and get a solid brand, man. That's so true. That's so true. You're out there competing with private equity money. That's a fact. Everybody is. If you're going to stand apart, you need a crew and a team of people around you that are going to stand apart alongside you. Yep. If you're not treating them right and you're not putting them in the best position possible for success, they're going to feel like another name tagline on a P&L sheet, So,
you mentioned a lot of things there, and it all was really focused around brand, like the uniforms and keeping the trucks clean and having pride in the tools. All of that, in my opinion, is all part of the brand, right? Like you have an amazing logo and your colors and your uniforms, but like it's the things you do once you get that stuff, right? That is your brand, because that amazing looking truck wrap you have, if you go do shitty work and provide horrible customer service, like that truck wrap isn't going to save your ass, right? But like the things you're talking about, people need to listen. It's like the analogy I like to give is when we get home and, for me, it's a dog, right? You got cows now. So it's like maybe the cows wag their tail. I don't know when they get excited to see you.
Oh, yeah. You got to have feed, but yeah.
But I think we all need to strive to have our business. We think of a customer's house we've never gone to before. That's the ultimate, in my opinion. Obviously your repeat customers that you're seeing on a regular basis, like you always want the tail wagging, but try to think of what is that customer feeling like that you're about to pull up to their house and have never used you before, right? Are they worried, concerned, scared? Are they worried, oh, this is going to be expensive? Like that to me is you failed on your brand already, right? Because they should have already been able to hear and know exactly what that call is going to be like, and they have no worry of expectations because you've answered all those questions before you've even gotten there, and you want their tail wagging before, during, and after, right? And to me, that wagging tail, because then they're going to go and they're going to happily tell their friends if they have a plumbing problem, hey, you need to call Mastin's because those guys are great. This is how they treated me. This is what they did. They made a mistake on this, but man, they went 10 times over to make it better. That's your brand, right? And I know that's the culture that you guys are breeding, but that's what people really need to pay attention to is how are you making those customers feel before, during, and after those calls you go to?
Yeah. I think a lot of that, and again, this is Army, which is I guess, has served me well in business. It starts from leadership down. How's the owner treating his internal employee, his internal customers, right? How are you? What's your relationship look like at your house? Because all of those things are going to affect how you walk through life.
Yeah.
My biggest thing too for my guys is you spoke about like how do we breed that into the culture and how do that translate to the homeowners? Do my guys feel proud and confident about themselves? Do they feel good about coming to work the next day? Or do they feel run down and like I'm punching a time clock?
Yeah.
The guys feel like they're run down and punching a time clock. That's the presentation they're giving to your homeowners, right? So they need to make sure they're getting time off. Make sure you're going above and beyond for those guys as well. Make sure that they can see a role and position for themselves within your company every step in growth strategy along the way, right? The ones that want to be there will be there, but you have to be there for them.
That's right.
That's the biggest thing, man.
I love it. All right, so we're at the time of the show where we do rapid fire questions, and I'm going to fire them at you, and you're just going to shoot from the hip and tell me the first thing that comes to mind. You ready? All right. So Cale's childhood hero,
Spider-Man.
I love it. Which one? Which version?
Oh, it would have to be the '90s cartoon guy.
Okay.
I don't know if that's really a version or not, but that was
I mean, I think there's been a couple cartoon versions over the years, right? But the '90s one sticks out.
Oh yeah.
Are you a beach or mountain guy?
Mountains. 100%.
Okay. You look like a mountain dude.
Yeah. Thank you. Take that as a compliment.
What famous person would you invite to dinner, and they could be dead or alive?
Oh man, gosh dang, that's a good one. That's hard. Abraham Lincoln.
All right, I think that'd be an interesting dinner.
That'd be a very good conversation.
I think he'd be honest with you.
I think so.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
I would have to. Well, I mean, it's so generic, but served in the army. Doing a tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah, not everybody's done that, right?
That's pretty darn gnarly. Yeah, a lot of fun.
What's something surprising that most people don't know about you?
Man, I'm such an open book. What is something surprising that most people don't know about me? I'm a lover of all forms of music.
Really?
Yeah, that is my Zen state and my peace. And it's going to be hard to find a genre. You could find a song, but a genre that I won't sit down and enjoy.
Okay, we'll listen to some T Swift together when we hang out.
Hey, that girl's got some bangers.
I know. I get to a fan,
I'd say I got an 11-year-old boy. I embarrass the heck out of him. I'll start ripping it when we're walking through Walmart.
If you had to make a sudden career change, what would it be?
Mm.
You can't be a male dancer either. You're too old for that.
I wanted to say electrician because I know a really good company here locally, but I would be a betrayer of my trade, so I can't say that.
Okay.
Rancher, man. Rancher. Yeah, I'd be a rancher. I really enjoy it.
Well, you're on your way. Yeah. You're on your way.
We got two heads.
And all right, the last question is: does Cale believe in aliens?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
You're a fool if you don't.
Oh man, like I knew we were friends. Like now it's solidified.
That wasn't a question.
I mean, you'd be surprised when I ask that question, and like we've had a great podcast, and then they go like, "No," and I'm going like, "Oh man, now I got to delete you," and I
don't know if I'm going to launch this.
No, I'm like, man.
Ask them a different question that the answer would be easily guessed to, and then you edit it back.
No, because sometimes they go into this like crazy explanation, and I'm like, it just seems so hard to explain why you think we're the only species that exists compared to why we aren't. Well, we've never, with science the way it is and all this, and there's been no proof of it, and I've never seen it, and I'm like, all right, we got it. I hit the end button already, dude. Stop talking. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I wish you guys nothing but the best. It's been an amazing journey the last what would we say?
We're ending our 4th year.
Ending 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Well, we're going to check back. We'll have you back on in a year or two, and we want to hear about the Mastin's dynasty that's taking place.
Oh, it'll be down there around your area by then.
I'm ready for it. Let's do it. I appreciate you, my friend.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
Bye.